inside the person along the nervous system. And undoubtedly this graphene nanotechnology is assembling antennas inside the brain so that people can receive instructions from the AI. They are legion.
Like the movie.
It's a hive mind that we're up against. These people that you think that are sleeping, they're not sleeping, ladies and gentlemen. There's no waking these people up. They've already been assimilated. They're receiving their instructions.
Black sheep.
From the AI. It's a total takeover. It's a meltdown. It's a disaster beyond anyone's imagination.
Hey YouTube world, Harvest is Plenty. Thanks for stopping by to check out the video. So guys, welcome to the new age. Welcome to the age of Aquarius. I see that the rich merchants of the earth, the kings of the earth, they're making haste and preparing the way, getting everybody ready for the return of the old ancient ones, Lucifer and his fallen horde. They're getting ready to come back. Preparations are underway. You know, the deception is so thick and many have drunken the Kool-Aid that people can't even see what's happening right in front of them. You know, I've warned you guys about this for a long time now. Well, actually not really that long, because I started my channel in December of 2020. Harvest is Plenty. And of course I had that channel taken down. Harvest is Plenty 2 was taken down. And here I am with Harvest is Plenty 3, still issuing warnings, serving as a watchman on the wall. Sharing with you guys, you know, some things that God has shown me, the research that I've done over 2 decades, and just trying to get you guys to understand where we're at in this time continuum. Now, I've talked about a lot of things. I talked about the Garden of Eden, where it all began, where the serpent promised man that he would become God through knowledge, esoteric, secret knowledge, gnosis, and he would be able to achieve immortality. I talked about AI, artificial intelligence. Artificial means fake or false. And we know that God is the true intelligent one. So Lucifer has to mimic and knock off or counterfeit God. So he calls his stuff artificial intelligence. Talked about the spawn or the offspring of the fallen angels mating with human women, the Nephilim. I've talked about the Antichrist and his return. They're working hard to seat him upon the throne. I talked about Nimrod in Babylon and how after the flood, Nimrod was the first Grandmaster Freemason. He gave other Masons their charge and they built the Tower of Babel. I talked about demons living within the machine, the mark of the beast, the cashless society, and digital currency. I talked about parallel universes, quantum computing and D-Wave, the hive mind system that they're building. I talked about singularity and I talked about CERN. And what you're seeing today, you're seeing the kings of the earth. Trump is spearheading this move and putting it together. I told you guys about Donald Trump. I told you guys he wasn't a Christian. I've always told you who he really was. But people don't believe me. Trump is putting these guys together. They're marshaling their forces to get the beast system up and ready. So everybody could be connected up to the hive mind system. But instead of me continuing to talk, how about I just let you guys see it for yourself and hear it for yourself. Check this out.
It's an ancient Egyptian dialect. I mean, like the rest of their culture, it's evolved completely independently, but once you know the vowels...
Just answer the question.
Well, I mean, I just had to learn how to pronounce it. I mean, it hasn't been a living spoken language in more than 1,000 years. I mean, look at this. It says, a traveler from distant stars escaped from a dying world looking for a way to extend his own life. His body decaying and weak, he couldn't prevent his own demise. Apparently his whole species was becoming extinct. So he traveled or searched the galaxies looking for a way to cheat death. And, look here. He came to a world rich with life, where he encountered a primitive race, humans. A species which, with all his powers and knowledge, he could maintain indefinitely. He realized within a human body he had a chance for a new life. Now, he apparently found a young boy. It says, as the frightened villagers ran, night became day. Curious and without fear, he walked towards the light. Ra took him and possessed his body, like some kind of a parasite looking for a host. And inhabiting this human form, he appointed himself ruler. He used the Stargate to bring thousands of people here to this planet as workers for the mines, just like the one we saw. This mineral is clearly the building block of all his technology. With this, he can sustain eternal life. Now, something happened, where is it, back on Earth? A rebellion or uprising, and the Stargate was buried there. Fearful of a rebellion here, Ra outlawed reading and writing. He didn't want the people to remember the truth.
Together, these world-leading technology giants are announcing the formation of Stargate, a new American company that will invest $500 billion at least in AI infrastructure in the United States, and this will include the construction of colossal data centers, very, very massive structures.
This is not just for business. AGI is coming very, very soon. And then after that, that's not the goal. After that, artificial super intelligence will come. This is the beginning of our golden age.
I think this will be the most important project of this era. As this technology progresses, we will see diseases get cured at an unprecedented rate.
So imagine early cancer detection, the development of a cancer vaccine for your particular cancer aimed at you, and have that vaccine available in 48 hours. This is the promise of AI and the promise of the future.
This monumental undertaking is a resounding declaration of confidence in America's potential under a new president. This is, to me, a very big thing. $500 billion Stargate project. I think it's going to be something that's very special. It'll lead to something that could be the biggest of all.
President Trump just moments ago here at the White House announcing this new project for infrastructure inside the U.S. for artificial intelligence, and 3 men are teaming up with the president in this public-private partnership, and that is Sam Altman, OpenAI CEO, Larry Ellison, Oracle founder, chairman of the board and chief technology officer, and Masayoshi Son, SoftBank chairman and CEO. Gentlemen, thanks for being here. It's exciting. I heard what you made, the comments you made inside. First, let me talk to you, Sam, about what this means for AI in the future for the U.S. investment here.
This means we can create AI and AGI in the United States of America. Wouldn't have been obvious that this was possible, but I think if a different president it might not have been possible, but we are thrilled to get to do this, and I think it'll be great for Americans, great for the whole world.
And Masa, you said that this is the golden age. You used President Trump's phrase. Why is it this administration that can do it, do you think?
Because we can make deal happen. You know, it's all energized. Approval come much faster, much bigger, and more meaningful way.
Larry, you talked about what can come out of this as far as healthcare and other things. People are starting to get their head around AI, but not fully.
Well, when you go to the hospital these days, if you're using a modern system, using a modern system, the doctor will get a little note written by AI describing what the purpose of the appointment, and then that note will have your latest lab tests and your so the doctor's prepared when they meet with the patient. The AI will actually listen to the conversation between the doctor and the patient and make recommendations and improve the likelihood that the patient is going to get a high quality of care. It's easier for the doctor, it's better outcomes for the patient. It's really a revolution in medicine, but it's a revolution in many other industries as well. Medicine just touches us all.
Can I ask the 3 of you just really quickly to get a sense of where you see the economy? There seems to be this optimism, or like the yoke is being released as far as regulation and business to flourish. Is that fair? Is that a fair assessment? How do you see it?
I think so.
This is the beginning of golden age. You know, America will be great again.
So the disciples, they asked Jesus, they said, Lord, when are you returning? When are you coming back? And he said that his return back to earth, his second coming, will be just like it was in the days of Noah. Now, what was going on during the days of Noah? The days of Noah was considered the golden age by those in the occult world. The fallen angels and their hybrid offspring, their children, Nephilim, which was, they were half angel, half human. They communed with man openly. I've talked about this and shared this with you guys. And that was considered the golden age. It was a lot of prosperity during that time. Prosperity for them. But to God, he saw continued wickedness in the hearts of men. He sent the flood, he washed them away. And so we're headed to this golden age, and artificial intelligence is going to be what connects everybody across the planet, connects us together to this hive mind grid system and the mark of the beast.
I'm really curious on AI from Gary's perspective. Are you?
Sure. Yeah.
I'm very interested because you have said things like you think Nephilim are involved with AI, and I'm very curious on what is happening. How are Nephilim attempting to mess with us now? What are the modern day tactics that are happening right now, including AI?
Well, let's just look at AI as a separate thing and just sort of connect it into the larger notion that it's the royales from more of the back rooms now that are controlling everything. They'll become more visible because you're going to have 10 kings that are going to rule the end time government before Antichrist comes to power at the midpoint of the last 7 years. So they come first, and Antichrist rises up between those horns. Daniel 7 refers to, and Revelation 17. And so these are the descendants of the beast empires. These are, as Daniel 2:43 is, they're going to mix their seed with humans. These are the ones that in Psalms 21:8-10, he's going to remove their fruit and their seed from the seed of humankind in the end time, in the time of his fiery wrath. There's a seed line here that's been with us all the way through. And these are the terrible ones that are also destroyed on a mountain, which is likely Mount Hermon, in the end time, at the time of Armageddon. So with that sort of as a background, that somehow, some way, Nephilim or their descendants are going to be with us, or both, and certainly they're going to require a creation for a soul and a body of some form for the demonic spirits that are going to interact with us. We're going to have that influence again in the end time. Now, AI is part of this angelic technology that we were talking about. And no matter what anybody says, just watch a Terminator movie and you know AI is probably not good for you. I say that in tongue in cheek, but you know, we need to understand that it's not the knowledge, it's how it's going to be used. And it's always a double-edged sword. And AI is going to be a coming together of several technologies, I think, that includes quantum computing, which is interdimensional, and the cryptocurrency. They're currently working on the aspect of, from another dimension, to be able to prevent the decryption of cryptocurrency, so the royales off the books money is safe. And so this is all being worked on. In fact, even at the Davos meeting last year, they're quite disappointed that AI is not up to speed yet to implement their chip system that they talked about in 2017 and 2018, so that they can create that in conjunction with the Neuralink that create this hive mind, so to speak, where they can communicate without speaking. They were talking about that in Davos last January as well. So AI needs to be developed in a faster way, and there's a larger emphasis on it. So now we roll that forward. What do we know in prophecy about something that looks like an AI? And we get an image of the Antichrist in the end time. And this is a speaking image. And this is very interesting language because in the Old Testament, they talk about idols. And one kind of idol is a talking idol. Now, where you see the word idol, it doesn't always go back to teraphim. So you have to be careful. And it's not always translated as teraphim. Some idols are just, teraphims are just translated as idol. So it's not really a consistent sort of translation. But teraphim were family idols that could speak in seemingly inanimate objects. Mm-hmm. This is an inanimate object that's going to be able to speak. That generally means there's a demon that's in that. So one deduces that you're going to likely have a oiketarian capability within the AI programming, just as whatever these idols were, like with what Rachel took from her father that had to be returned, it's translated as idol, but it's teraphim. As you take
talking idol.
A talking idol. Yes. And so I think we're going to have demonic spirits in there somehow, and they're working at the behest of Antichrist. At the time of Armageddon, he, false prophet, and Satan are going to have demons come out of their mouth. But you could also translate that out of the Greek as they're commanding the demons. So in this case, you could look at those demons he would be commanding through his image. And guess what that image does? All who do not take the mark of the beast or worship Satan or worship Antichrist will be beheaded. Why? Because some of them have rivals out there. I mean, not some of them. The Antichrist will have rival bloodlines out there who don't want to submit to his kingship of the world. So they're going to make sure those ones are going to stay dead. That's why the beheading. And so the AI is this coming together of the mark of the beast that comes in to play with this implant chip system that works interdimensionally, that will also give contact to the divine essence, or the Atma particle that is talked about in the subcontinent of India, also called the Brahma. And this is an invisible particle that they're looking for that you can't measure at the quantum level, that contains all knowledge, that through quantum entanglement sends all knowledge worldwide, universal wide, all dimension wide, instantaneously, known as quantum entanglement. And this is the knowledge that they want to tap into, because they have to be able to offer immortality of the individual and unlimited knowledge as part of the oath and the mark that you're going to take with the mark of the beast. So this is technology that's coming together that's required for the mark of the beast, in my understanding.
Now, I know that it's a lot of information to take in with this particular video. It may seem unreal, unnatural, a conspiracy theory. You know, people have called me conspiracy theorists for a long time now, and they don't believe the information. You know, for some people, they expect government officials, whether it's Trump, Biden, Harris, Obama, I don't know, they expect someone to stand up on national TV and say, hey guys, we're building a new world order. We're going to force everybody to take the mark of the beast, and we are representatives of Lucifer upon the earth. Why would someone openly say that? Why would you expect someone to openly say that to you? The serpent was the most subtlest beast of the field. They operate with craftiness, cunningness, through lies, deceit, deception, through murder, through treason. God told us this in the Bible. They operate as wolves in sheep's clothing. He says, no marvel that Satan himself and his ministers can transform themselves into ministers of light and righteousness. So they will deceive you until the end. Don't expect them to be honest and open with you and tell you the truth. They will lie. They will tell you that they're Christians. They will carry Bibles. They will say everything that they're doing is for your benefit. You're going to prosper by these new laws and these new changes. You're going to make a lot of money. Your bills are going to be a lot cheaper. They're going to say all of these things. It's going to be peace. The Bible warned us about that too. He said when they yell peace, 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 and safety, then sudden destruction shall come upon them, like a woman travailed with child. Because see, they want peace without the Prince of Peace. The Prince of Peace is Jesus Christ. That's why it's called Novus Ordo Seclorum. Seclorum means secular world, meaning without God. They want to break free. Remember that term, break free. I'm going to do videos and it's going to reference that term, break free. They want to break free from God. They don't want him to be involved with any of their affairs. See, Lucifer, he cannot get to heaven. He's been kicked out. Or he's getting kicked out if he hasn't already. So he said, oh well, we'll bring heaven down to earth. And we'll recreate what we had from the old times before the flood. And that's what they're doing. But they need a way to be able to create the image of the beast where the beast should speak, and also to get this mark going. So everybody would be forced to take it in order to buy and sell and travel and work and do all of those things. I mean, that's what happened during the pandemic, right? If you didn't take that stuff, put that needle in your arm, you couldn't go to work. You couldn't travel. I really want to dive into that, but that was the reason why my first channel was taken down, because I spoke so hotly against that needle. And YouTube didn't mess around. They took my channel down. And I angered a lot of people because over 81% of the American population took at least one shot. That's fact. Think about what I just said. That's why Deagle is my #1 video. Every day, at least 10 to 20 people, sometimes 80 people, go watch my Deagle video. Deagle Forecast 2025. I always pray against it, and that is not true, but I put the information up on my channel so people could be aware of it. And I'm going to put up a video series that I did in 2021 called The Last Kingdom. I want you guys to check it out. Hopefully YouTube don't take those videos down. But last, I'm going to leave you guys with some information from Gaudy Rose. Now, this video I've been sitting on since around 2016, 2017. It's Gaudy Rose. And he's going to speak to you about D-Wave and quantum computing and artificial intelligence. And he's going to tell you straight from the horse's mouth that they're bringing in demons or aliens or whatever you want to call them, fallen angels. He's going to tell you that they do not like humans. He's going to tell you that they're building something to be much smarter than us and that we will be replaced. You're going to hear from his mouth. And I want you to pay attention and listen to exactly what he says. Now you decide for yourself. I like to bring you information and let you hear things straight from the horse's mouth most of the time. So you can't refute me. I'm not here to debate or argue with anybody. I'm here just to bring you information and to hopefully open up your eyes so you can see what these demons and these Luciferians are planning for us. It's crazy. But I love you guys. Till my next video, may the good Lord continue to bless you and your family.
Okay, so that's just D-Wave. I did that for about 15 years. It was a lot of fun. A big science project that we turned into a commercial entity. That was a warm-up for Kindred. So Kindred is much, much, much more ambitious than D-Wave. And what Kindred is trying to do is build real AI. So what you've heard about AI is not what we mean by AI. What we mean by AI is a software system that can do literally anything that a human can do. Literally anything. And obviously, computers are better at things than people in lots of different ways. So now imagine, not only can they do everything that a human can do, but they can do everything that the best human at any task could do better than them. So imagine there was the mental Olympics of the 100-meter dash, and Usain Bolt is the fastest person. Now imagine that's some kind of a mental thing, like writing a novel or writing whatever. Imagine now that the thing is so much faster than Usain Bolt, like, for example, it's a spaceship, yeah? It's still doing the same thing, but it's doing it so much better because we're limited, because we're people. So what Kindred is trying to do is solve this problem. How do you build machines that are better than people at everything? Now, there's a mental block that we have here when we think about this. Because when you think about that, one of your questions might be, for example, what are the applications of this? So imagine this. Imagine for $10, let's say, I could build a machine, like a little robot that had fingers and eyes and all that, and it could do your job better than you, no matter what it is, and I could sell that to your employer for, say, $15 and make a profit, instead of having to pay you $100,000 a year. Now imagine that was true for every single job. So that's what we're talking about here, is a complete and utter transformative change that of the likes of which has never been seen before in the history of humanity, making the Industrial Revolution look like a little tiny blip on the path that humans have taken from when we emerged from the ooze a few billion years ago. We are right on the verge of that transition now. So this guy, Rich Sutton, is one of the most famous people in the academic world of AI. And like many, when asked, when will this happen, he says things like this. 25% chance within 13 years of this thing that I'm talking about. You know, when you think about what you read on the news, you know, CNN, BuzzFeed, whatever, they're all kind of the same nowadays. Think about how unimportant that thing is that you're reading if this is true. Yeah? So what does this have to do with aliens? So Sam Harris, who I quite admire, is a very interesting guy, was reciting this parable at a TED Talk that he was giving, and it goes something like this. So I am, say I'm the President of the United States. So I received this message from the heavens. So my microwave dish, my SETI dish, finally captures something. And what it says is, in 50 years, or 13 years, we're coming to your planet. You got to be ready. Now just imagine what would happen if that happened. A super intelligent alien race beamed down a message to all of us Earthlings saying, we're coming July 13th, 2030, and boy, you better be ready because the mothership is landing right on the front lawn of the White House or wherever you wanted to land on that day. The amount of resources that would be marshaled to try to figure out what to do would encompass the whole world. AI is just like that. So when this thing that I'm talking about happens, it's going to be exactly the thing that you're thinking about those super intelligent AIs. So the one thing I can tell you is they're not going to be like us. So alien means, you know, different. These things that we're building are not going to be people. They might be really smart, they might be really good at all sorts of different things, but they're not going to be like us. They're going to be aliens. And they're going to be, I'm sorry to say, way smarter than every single person in this room in ways that we can't even comprehend. So this, of course, triggers a lot of alarm. One of the guys who talks about this is Elon, who says things like this, like, when you do this, beware, because you think, just like the guy in the stories, that when you do this, you're going to put that little guy in a pentagram, and you're going to have your holy water out, and you're going to wave it at the thing, and by God, it's going to do exactly what you say and not one thing more, but it never works out that way. So this is an attitude that some are having, this emerging alarmism about the way this is going to go. But these words, demons, doesn't capture the essence of what's happening here. I don't know if any of you are turn-of-the-century weird fiction fans, but there's this guy named H.P. Lovecraft, who's a very famous American weird fiction author. And he espoused a view which is called cosmicism. And the essence of cosmicism is cosmic indifference. So what he was saying is basically, yes, there are these massively intelligent entities out there, but they're not good, they're not evil. They just don't give a shit about you even in the slightest. The same way that you don't care about an ant is the same way they're not going to care about you. And these things that we're summoning into the world now are not demons, they're not evil, but they're more like the Lovecraftian great old ones. There are entities that are not necessarily going to be aligned with what we want. So this transition is really, really massively important for our entire species to navigate. And going back to that thing that Sam Harris was saying, nobody is paying attention. This thing is happening in the background while people bicker about politics and what's going to be in the healthcare plan in the US. And underneath it all is this rising tsunami that, if we're not careful, is going to wipe us all out. So, on that pleasant note, we're hiring people to try to make something like this happen. Of course, you know, this is a very difficult project, of course, and I'm kind of a little bit tongue-in-cheek about all this, like, you know, how bad things are, because it's not really like that. You know, technology is a double-edged sword. Even something like this, it's agnostic. It depends who wields it. If you want to have a say in how all this goes down, you can't sit on the sidelines. And one of the ways that you can get involved and really change the world, like, you know, a lot of people say, hey, join the Marines, you'll change the world or whatever. This opportunity that I'm talking about here in Vancouver is an opportunity for you to literally change the world. Because the code that you write may be running in the brains of these things in 10 years.